Welcome to the latest edition of Access All Areas Explores. As you can see, we're at Goodwood Motor Circuit for the Goodwood Revival. Since it was launched by the Duke of Richmond in 1998, it's become synonymous with beautiful automobiles and outrageous costumes. The attention to detail here is remarkable throughout the site, as you'll see in this film. And among the suppliers responsible for making this event outstanding is Qdos Event Hire. So I understand Qdos Event Hire has been working with Goodwood for nearly 10 years. So obviously it's not just dry hire. How has the relationship kind of expanded and evolved during the past decade?
So when we first approached Goodwood, it was very much on a sort of contractual basis, and then as we got to know them and work with them and understand the events and the estate, we've kind of almost not embedded, but we've had a really strong relation with the event team, and as they've grown and we've supported them, and the guys that we were with when we first started doing members in I think 2015 have now grown up through the Goodwood team, and they're leading the events. So we bring our knowledge to the table of all the events and our sort of history and the kit, the degree of kit that we've got, I suppose the depth of kit that we bring, and so from the plastic toilets to the showers in the campsites to the modular buildings to support like the caterers and all the wardrobe space for the Goodwood Actors Guild.
Hi, I'm Dan Garlick, the Motorsport Director here at Goodwood. Joined in 2012, so I've been here for 11 years now, and I'm responsible for delivery of Festival of Speed, the Goodwood Revival, our Goodwood members meeting, and more recently Goodwood as well.
So Daniel, since it was launched by Duke of Richmond in 1998, how has the event evolved and grown, both in terms of its complexity and also the capacity each day?
Yeah, so as you said, we've been going since 1998, so it was launched a year to the day from 1948, 50 years later from when it was initially a world-class motor circuit. It ran as a circuit from 48 to 66, post-war. The fighter pilots used to rush back home at the end of the day, and that's where it developed into the circuit. So the revival was brought back to celebrate that whole period from 48 to 66 and the racing that went on there, but also the whole lifestyle piece from that period. So in 98 we were about 25,000 a day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but it tended to be Sunday sales led. That's kind of the highlight of the racing was on the Sunday, so that tended to be the day that attracted the most visitors, because it was probably a real core motorsport audience then. And I think what we've seen really is, as you look around now, is that everyone that comes makes so much effort to be at Revival. It's really now about sort of celebrating that whole period in a really immersive experience. We've got sort of over 200 actors here that help make part of that, singers and dancers and entertainers and people that just come up and talk to you, and the whole public now dress up as well. So it's become much more immersive, and we've seen now that's been great with the success of the event. We're now at 50,000 a day, sell out Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And interestingly, as that crowd is changed perhaps to a more immersive day out in the event crowd, then actually Saturday is now the lead sale. It all sells out, but Saturday leads, even though the key racing is perhaps arguably still on the Sunday. So I think it reflects that we've got motorsport fans, but also now the event enjoyment fans as well.
So it's a pretty vast operation. I mean, in terms of the number of timeline, if you like, the number of people and number of units that you supply, can you give us an idea of the scale?
Yeah, I think people don't realise what is involved in Goodwood, and it's not just Revival and Foz. The whole event season starts in April, where we're building for members meeting, and then it evolves into Goodwood, and then into Festival of Speed, and then we move to Qatar Festival, and then in between that there's various track days. There's 3 Friday nights at the race course. There's race days. So we have a presence on site. But I think it's almost 5 months. So we're quite integral to how the events evolve into each other, and part of that is the sustainability of not always taking everything away, having it here, making it kind of work more efficiently.
How much of a focus is there on sustainability when you're bringing this event to life?
We're proud to be ISO 2012-1 accredited, which we gained in 2012. We were one of the original test cases back around the London Olympics when that was brought in, and that's great because it keeps us honest. We do all the small things that you can do, the no plastic serveware, the recycling bins, using the one cup scheme for the pints of beer. So all of that's in place, but it just keeps nudging you along. So as an estate, we've now got a large biomass boiler which provides hot water and power in a green manner to the Goodwood Hotel, the house, large part of the Festival of Speed site, which is great. We've got solar panels here at the circuit, help for power of revival. And we're always looking at what we can do better. And we committed, because of 2012-1, really, that, right, what's the next step? And we then have brought in biodiesel to all the temporary power sources at all of our events now over the last 3 years, thirds at a time, because it is an expensive change to make. So this year I'm really proud that we've been 100% biodiesel across all the generators on the events this year, which is great, and that really makes a huge impact on the carbon side. So yeah, I think it's core to what we believe. As an estate overall, I think we do a pretty good job. I like to think that it's a sort of how we are as a brand, really. We get on with things, doing things properly and correctly, and we don't shout about it, perhaps, as others might, but I think our credentials are pretty good, and it is what drives us as an estate all of the time anyway. And I guess the other thing operationally, when I spoke earlier about working with suppliers for long periods, what that enables us to do is build up that understanding and trust with suppliers. So Qdos is probably the best example, where we've got events over the year but with large gaps, but by working with them we can stop lorry movements, or massively reduce them. We can plan with Qdos or whoever it might be what kit we can bring in for the season, leave it in place, and make significant savings there. So that's something that again comes from that long-standing relationship, which is great.
And it's obviously quite a complicated environment in terms of you've got a motor track, you've got an aerodrome, you've got and there's a obvious real attention to detail in terms of creating this kind of fantasy environment of times gone by. How does that affect the way you work on the site?
Every event is very different. The ones that are on the motor circuit are very restricted by the motor circuit being live, and also you've got then an airfield, so there's restrictions about what you can or can't do and when you can do it. And then you move to the house for Festival of Speed, which is basically a green field site. So that we can't do anything until then the trackway's down, and it's being very respectful of obviously the Duke's front garden, if you want, and the whole property and the history that goes with it. So everything is quite unique, and the same with the racecourse. And there's bits at the racecourse that that you need to look after or not go near, and you can't move a high out there. So, and it's that knowledge, and I think that's where the relationship is really strong. Is that we have that, and we have a team that have worked on and off on the events for 10 years, and they know other people here, like the greenkeepers at the golf course, and they know the mechanics on the motor circuit. So it's all those other little relationships which enable us to do what we do and do it efficiently, so you're not always bothering the events team every 2 minutes going, oh, where does this go, where does this go? And it's like, well, we know, we'll double check, but then we'll do it and we'll make sure it's in the right place, and it's adding that value back. Absolutely.
And in terms of the the kit that you supply, I mean, how's that sort of changed in terms of, obviously you're kind of always looking to, to supply something new and a hybrid version or a kind of updated version of previous kit. So can you sort of talk us through a little bit about kind of some of the newer gear that you're delivering to the site?
I think we've always tried to get away from the traditional anti-vandal quarter cabin, as ours are very user-led. So therefore, nice big windows, blinds, better lighting. The newer cabins that have come through, like the production offices, much better insulation. They've got LED lighting. So we're trying to think about energy usage, keeping them as efficient as possible, better insulation. The doors are wider, so they allow access for anybody. So they're accessible. So it doesn't matter who is on site or who's using them. They don't prevent anybody from using them.
One of the wonderful things about Goodwood Revival is the attention to detail. Clearly has been paid everywhere, really. Every kind of corner of the venue is kind of beautifully decorated. How much of a focus is that? I mean, in terms of this amount of time and energy that goes into bringing this venue alive.
Absolutely. I think the attention to detail is the key aspect. That we get the basis of the event built, but you're absolutely right, it's that last 10% which is all important. We're very proud of what we're trying to achieve at Goodwood and the staff, but we tend to end up working with suppliers for quite a long time as well. It takes quite a while for a new supplier to really get the finish we're trying to achieve. I've talked about that we have sort of 200 actors and all the staff that are going to treat customers and really make them feel immersed, but the suppliers get that as well. So probably the first few years for suppliers getting on board with us, and then after that people tend to work with us for a long time and are arguably just as proud as what we deliver as a group as Goodwood staff are. So it's a real big team effort from the staff that work here permanently to the temp staff that we grow for the event to all of our supply base. So it's great all working on that.
So you've got structures of all shapes and sizes throughout the whole site, covering everything from makeup rooms to trailers full of costumes to event control. It's pretty impressive. I mean, obviously accessibility is a key thing as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how much we can see here, we've got a accessible shower, but I mean, how much attention do you pay to that really across all of the structures that you provide?
I think it's really important now, and it's something that all event organisers are much more aware of, making everything inclusive, and as we as a supplier have to take that on board. So within the fleet, you'll see as you come in to collect a ticket, there's an accessible ticket office which has got a drop window. So throughout all the toilet blocks, there's accessible toilets, baby changing facilities as well. And then throughout the campsites which we supply, there's wet rooms, which is a shower and a toilet in one, or there's an individual sort of accessible shower. Same with all the cabin doors are wide enough to take wheelchairs through. Like the medical centres are designed so you can get access from a mobility buggy, also a stretcher as well. So all these things we kind of factor into now what we design and what we use and have on the fleet. And we've also, for another client, we've developed a high dependency unit, which is it's like a changing cabin which has a hoist in it as well. So it's for that real high dependency level. So events need to offer this now. They need to be inclusive.
So we find ourselves in another fascinating space on site. Where are we now?
So this is the mess, one of our key enclosures, and we find ourselves in the operations room in the middle of the war period. So, and I mean, we talked about attention to detail, and I think that this is kind of it. We've got part of our cast in the background working away with the plotting table, and that's the fun. That's what people love as they come into the enclosure. Is that people to talk to them and get them involved in the planning on the operations.
Brilliant. And how closely involved is the Duke in this? Obviously, it was his kind of brainchild, but like, how is he involved in like every detail, or is it kind of a bigger helicopter viewpoint?
No, the Duke, he loves it. He's a photographer as a younger man, and his attention for detail is second to none. It very much comes from the Duke, our obsession for perfection, and it's great because when the chairman, the person at the top, wants everything just right, then that really rubs off on the team, and it really pushes us, to every little detail, whichever anniversary, whichever place it is, the authenticity is what it's all about, because it's the little details that really make it for people and bring it alive, and that definitely comes from the Duke. We meet with him every week, and he's keen to know exactly what's right, what's not, and we're 25th year of revival, and so he's clearly doing something right, and I think we just aspire to get it right for him.